So welcome back. Now is our third and last section of our units on the development and history of Tamshui. So I mentioned in the first and the second conversation with Paul that there have been a lot of changes in Tamshui and also how the different governments use Tamshui as a place. So as I mentioned at the end of the second section, now we probably use Tamshui as a tourist site, and most people visit Tamshui to visit those sites. So I would like to ask Paul, what's your previous experience of going to Tamshui?
Yeah, like I said in the first conversation, I've been to Tamshui several times, and I found it different. Like, for example, I mean, Canada, where I'm from, has a lot of different kinds of food, but there were so many different kinds of food in such a small area. I mean, you had your everything from ice cream that's that tall to different kinds of fish to whatever. I mean, you had Starbucks, you had your coffee shops, you had your tea shops, you had sushi places, whatever. I mean, it was you had your fried foods. It just went on and on and on. I found that to be very, I liked that because it had a variety of different kinds of foods. But I'll tell you the biggest thing that attracted me, and that was when you get off the MRT and you walk for about a minute or two, there's an area. And sometimes you get these artists painting pictures. Or you get this guy who's standing up and he's all dressed up in gold, you know, or you get some guy playing a musical instrument, or you get some guy, like there was one, I mean that's it there. There's a whole bunch of different kind of artists, street performers, and there was one guy there once, he had this like big puppet show going on. And he had all these different kinds of puppets going on. And I mean, where I'm from, you don't get to see this very often. Stuff like this. It's you know, maybe big cities like Toronto, maybe Vancouver, Montreal, but you know, here I was, this guy had this big puppet show going on. And I mean, it was a lot of fun. He had the lights there, and there's a whole group of people around it. And I had my children with me, and they loved it. They thought it was fantastic. It was wonderful. And I mean, I think most of the times I've been there, there's been somebody or a number of people. Once I think there were like 5 or 6 people around the area, and someone, like I said, was playing something, and someone else was singing, and someone else was, I don't know, spinning something around, or someone else was a magician, and it was like, you know, you're paying, you got a free show. And they're trying to sell things, and that's fine. I mean, you know, but it was interesting just to walk around and see all this different stuff. And the second thing is, well, I'm sure you know about this, it's the old street. There's so many different kinds of shops. You can buy all kinds of things. It's like a shop, and it's great because you can get almost anything. It's almost like a night market and a supermarket and a mall all just rolled into one. And it's crowded, very, very crowded. There's people everywhere, but that's because a lot of people like it there, and there's a lot of things you can buy, and there's so much variety. I mean, you go into, I mean, this shop has something, and this shop has something different, and this shop has something different, and this shop has there's so many different kinds of things to buy there. It's just such a variety. So I think that's the thing that really hit me in a good way about Tamshui, is that there's so many different kinds of things, whether it's toys or clothes or food or even people, things you can watch, things you can do, things you can play in just a small area. And as I said before, you could even you watch the sunset. You could play with your kids, throwing the frisbee around a little area. There's bicycling. It's just like so many little things to do in such a small place. It makes it really interesting.
And I think after the construction of the MRT, it really started to turn Tamshui into this kind of interesting area. Now there are different kind of old streets in Taiwan, but I think Tamshui was a place that started the old street. And as you say,
Yeah,
you
yeah,
can
I understand
get,
that. Yeah.
lots of different street performers.
Yeah.
And I think also it's from the Tamshui area that we now even issue licenses for these street performers.
Oh, really? Okay. I didn't know that. Okay.
That's what the local government's interest into. Okay, we can give these street performers, right?
I think they should too, because it attracts people, it's fun, it's interesting, it gives the local people a chance to make some money, show off their product. I think it's a good idea, yeah.
And as you mentioned, because later the government would not use Tamshui this area for trade purposes. So that turns Tamshui into a more rural area. So we get fishermen and farmers at that area. So the fishermen would like to use the fish they get.
Yeah, I see people fishing all the time with the little boats coming in and unloading all the fish. You can actually watch them. I mean, come in and unload the fish. And where I'm from in Canada, I can see that too, but there's a lot of places can't actually see that. It's like, this is different. Yeah.
Yes. So particularly when people go to Tamshui, that place is famous for a particular kind of mussel. We call that green mussel.
Oh yeah, yep.
So people will go there to have seafood.
I've eaten there. I've eaten that a couple times. The mussels there is actually, yeah.
So we call that green mussel because it looks like the peacock's feather in a way. So in Chinese, we'll call that peacock mussel. So because of its shape, it's like a peacock's feather.
Right. It's kind of got the shape like this, and it's got like the green. Yeah, sure.
And also, as I mentioned, they will use the fish they caught, so they will make that into different kind of snacks. So that's another special things you can get in Tamshui.
Yep.
You can get fried fish stickers and other stuff. Tempura from Japan. We get that kind of stuff as well. So that's some special snacks only in Tamshui. And also I can recall there's a famous pastry shop. So for Taiwanese, if they want to get engaged or get married,
I know what you're talking about.
A really traditional pastry shop in Tamshui. And to order some particularly cake or something for them. That's what I get from one of my best friends. Her family, actually went to Tamshui and ordered that particular pastry for her engagement. So then you can go to Tamshui as this small town, but with a long history and lots of local people enjoy this kind of history and atmosphere. So they felt that there was a great change, then for Tamshui people to see their small town, then becomes a big tourist area as well. So
that's one of the things I like about Tamshui is that the tourist area. I can talk to Taiwanese in Tamshui. It seems like so easily. I have gone up to strangers, didn't know, started talking to them, and they started talking to me. It's like an area where the boundaries are dropped, and you can just start talking to people. It's like they just open up, and they don't mind just having a chat with you. They don't know you, you don't know them, but it's like a friendly kind of area that people can just relax in. And I think for Taiwanese as well as foreigners, if you want to improve your Chinese, understand the culture, that's a good place to go because it seems to be more relaxed and comfortable for people to know each other. Yeah.
So as Paul just mentioned, that we feel it's really easy to go to Tamshui. We can see people fishing. We can take the ferry. It's not really common in Taiwan. And we can go to some interesting places, even like the world famous Cloud Gate.
I don't know
the
that.
Dance Theater. They get their center in Tamshui. So you can go there, and there's a special Starbucks shop there as well. So you can always go to Tamshui and enjoy to have a nice conversation, even with foreign visitors, for Taiwanese, and for foreign visitors or foreigners in Taiwan, to have some easy conversations with local people who are really open-minded.
I think if a foreigner comes to Taiwan, one of the places that Taiwanese take them would be to Tamshui. So it's a great place for, you know, like I said, chatting. Because people who visit Taiwan for the first time, they want to talk to Taiwanese. And so it's a great way for Taiwanese to mingle, to, you know, get to know other foreigners and their country. Yeah.
So here will be the end of our third section, and we will have two questions for you. So Paul, would you start with your question?
Yeah. I'll give you this funny question. The peacock was actually something that she said. What was she referring to exactly, and what do they do with it?
So, well, I think that's a tricky question. I wonder
think about it
whether,
for a second.
Yeah, our student can get that. And also, Paul mentioned the reason that he likes Tamshui, and why would Paul recommend Tamshui to foreign visitors or foreigners in Taiwan?
Yeah.
Okay, that would be my question. Okay, thank you. See you next time.